Hi, this is Ushio and welcome back to Echo. In the last episode we kind of had a really good ending with Cole. It was nice and wholesome as this game can allow you to be, let's face it. But I'm aware, yeah, there is a different option that I didn't take before, quite a while ago. So we were aware that Cole is basically getting possessed by a, like a ghosty kind of dude. And before we said that we were going to fight it, we were going to reject this guy's influence and we were going to try and forge our own path, and it seemed to work out ultimately for the best. But what if we invite it in? We could let it help us. So I don't know what's going to happen. Maybe it's going to be short, or maybe it'll be a different branch. Let's find out. Let's let this evil ghost thing, or evil, I don't know what its intentions are, but it's got beef. But we're going to let it help us. Well, I don't exactly like the idea of whatever it is changing Cole, influencing him. It might be our only choice. I think you should probably let it. Yeah. Cole looks at me, and I can tell he's a little bit surprised. Maybe it's basically trying to help us, right? And if it's James, he knows exactly what we need to do. Yeah. Cole sounds a little reluctant, but I can tell he's starting to agree with me. And it'll be only for the time that we're here. He just wants to show us his story, and then we can get out. I don't mention that a more confident Cole will make everything easier as well. I just had to make sure that he and Jenna were carefully kept separate. Either way, we are in this together. I'll make sure things don't get out of hand between you and it. We sit there for a while, Cole absorbing what I just said. It's clear that whatever is influencing Cole, and probably Jenna, is powerful, and we have to be careful. Whatever he decides, I just pray it's the right decision. I mean, I got my doubts. I do got my doubts. I wake up groggily, my head throbbing a bit from laying it on the stiff pillow. Like the last time I woke up, it takes me a while to realise where I am. And, just like last time, I get a sinking feeling in my stomach when I realise where that is. I lay on my side, staring at the wall in front of me, watching shadows dance along the log bumps. It's depressing, though not as much as last time. At some point, I guess, I realised that there wasn't much I could do. I just go with it, and hope something comes of it. At least there seemed to be a goal in the mind of whatever had control of this, whatever it was. Suddenly, I feel an arm slide over my hip and I stiffen. Cole breathes into the back of my neck. What's up? I shiver as he breathes against my neck. Nothing, just thinking. About a bunch of things. Cole suddenly squeezes my ass hard. I yelp and jump as he chuckles. Dude, what the hell? I whisper, trying to keep my voice down for fear of Raven and Jenna hearing, especially Jenna. Cole doesn't say anything, choosing to nuzzle the fur on the back of my neck while he grinds his hips against me. I guess it's okay, since we sort of made things official last night, I guess. Still, his behaviour feels like it's coming out of nowhere. You okay? He chuckles. Yeah, everything's fine now that I've got your tight butt here in front of me. I turn my head and squint back at him. Are you acting like this because of James, or because you're just trying to be more confident? Cole just gazes back at me with half-lidded eyes before he starts wagging his brows. I turn away again and lay my head on the pillow. Well, I think you're trying too hard, just let it come naturally. Oh. Cole dives in again and starts nuzzling my neck, rubbing his hands over my body. I writhe and try not to laugh, but it's no use, and soon I'm letting out full-on guffaws. Wait, stop it! He doesn't let up though, and it's not until we hear voices drifting up from downstairs that we do stop. It sounds like Raven, but I'm pretty sure he's talking to Jenna. I roll to my back in Cole's arms and turn my head to him. We gotta keep it down. I'm reminded of our situation when I see some flakes of blood around Cole's nose and the big splotches on his shirt. I guess we are being a bit loud. Yeah, how is the nose? Cole automatically raises a hand to touch it. It's fine. Okay. I lay there in silence for a few seconds, feeling like that moment's kind of ruined. I look again at the walls, remembering that we should be looking for something instead of messing around like this. Looking for something? Not sure. Hey, we should be finding something, right? Cole lazily starts drawing circles on my chest with a finger. I mean, didn't that ghost ancestor, whatever it was, tell you that we needed to find stuff? Cole rubs his nose. Yeah, in the last place we were in at least. I guess it'd be the same for this place, right? Unless it was what we already burned up. Yeah. Cole lays there quietly thinking. Well, I think I might try to look downstairs. You want to stay up here and look around? I guess. I want to get the other two to start looking too. The threat of Jenna hangs heavy in the air, and the way we're both obviously avoiding it makes it all the heavier. What about the ankle? I flex it around, the twinge a lot less sharp now, though the stiffness feels even worse. I think I'm okay, let me try it out. Okay. Cole holds on to me for a while longer, giving my neck one last nuzzle before letting me go. I sit up and swing my legs over the side of the bed, pressing my foot to the floor. The twinge that runs through my ankle is minuscule. Standing up, I'm able to put some pressure on it before it hurts too much. The problem is that I can't bend the joint at all, leaving me with an obvious and lumbering limp. I think I'm okay. Sure you don't want to ride on my back down the stairs at least? I consider it, but I don't really want him and Jenna anywhere near each other. Especially after what she might have just heard. Nah, I want to test it out a little bit more. I turn my head to look back at Cole. His brows are raised at me, like he doesn't really think I can do it. I'll call you if I need help, okay? Cole purses his lips. Okay. Here we go. I've skipped ahead a little bit. Some of these dialogues we have seen before, so I'm assuming that you've kind of gone back, you're familiar with the game, or you've watched the last episode. So Jenna and Cole have got this beef, so we're trying to keep them separate. So I was just having a chat with Jenna, but Cole is coming down the stairs. Jenna pauses too, her ears perked. The fuck's that ram doing? Sure enough, the ram suddenly comes swinging around the opening to the stairs. I shake my head rigorously at him, but he ignores me. Jenna stands there stiffly, arms folded tight. Hey Cole, weren't you looking around upstairs? Cole stands there in the doorway, looking at me with a grin. I know where it is. My eyes widen. Really? Upstairs? He ignores me again, instead walking around me to the end of the room. He halts in front of the wood-burning stove. Cole, what are you doing? Again, he doesn't say anything, instead needing to twist the metal handles on the stove door before letting it fall open. Jenna walks closer, but is sure to keep her distance, her arms still folded. Hey, what's going on? Raven looks around at us, not even bothering to read the room. Did you find something? Cole looks into it before slapping the top of the metal stove. Ah, there it is. What? But how? How did you know it was there, Cole? Jenna's voice is deep and husky again. Her expression is dark, her eyes narrowed at Cole. Cole ignores both of us as he reaches into the stove. His head is pressed up against the side of the stove as he strains to get whatever it is. I'm about to ask what it is again when he suddenly pulls back and punches the stove. God damn it. I jump. He suddenly turns around to face us, his eyes briefly resting on Jenna before he turns to me. Hey, I think you're small enough to get it. What? What am I getting? Cole. As if he hadn't heard any of us, he grabs me by the arm and pulls me to the stove. Hey, don't worry about it. Cole finally responds to Jenna, though he keeps his grip on me as he gets out of the way and positions me in front of the stove. He's just getting something I can't quite reach because I'm fat. He pushes me down to duck in toward the opening and points to the back of the stove, upward to where the chimney is. See that? White piece of paper? I'm barely able to make out a white smudge in the sea of darkness. Oh yeah, that's our ticket out of here. He gives me a slight nudge in the back. I normally wouldn't have a problem crawling into an unlit stove, but something about the setting, being a haunted cabin, makes me nervous. He gives me another nudge, more insistent this time, and I slowly crawl into the edge of the stove. It's a tight fit, but I am skinny enough to make it. I decide to sit on the ledge of the opening while the rest of my body stretches inside. The smell is smoky and the air is cool. I wonder subconsciously if the chimney might lead up into the outside. I reach up toward the chimney, feeling around the rough and metallic surface before I make contact with a stiff piece of folded paper. I close my fingers around it and pull, getting just a little resistance before it comes loose. At that moment, something caresses my hand. Rough-tipped fingers that almost lovingly run up my wrist and arm. I yelp and jump, banging my head against the roof of the stove. I fall sideways into the ash-filled bottom. I'm on the verge of panic when Cole reaches in and pulls me out, banging my head again as I fall into the wooden floor. What happened? You okay? Something grabbed me? I rub my head with one hand, the other clutching onto the paper. Cole roughly pats my clothes, sending clouds of ash into the air. I cough and sputter, feeling all kinds of grit in my throat. Might have just been imagining it. Who knows what kind of shit's dangling in that chimney. Yeah. I frown at Cole. How did you know it was there? He grins at me. Same way it happened last time. So it is paying off. So this is way different. So before, I think Raven or Jenna find it, but they almost get sucked inside the stove, whereas Cole's just gone straight to it. Now he's listening to his kind of possession. Yeah, it is paying off. Oh well, at least we have someone giving us some direction in this place. Jenna snorts, but I choose to ignore her. I look at the old yellowed piece of paper in my hands. It's a lot older looking than the photocopied newspaper that had burned up earlier. So you think that's what we needed to find? Raven asks excitedly, staring at the paper. Yeah, it is. After a few more hacks, I finally manage to start to get my breathing under control. I make my way over toward the candle for better light. Well, I guess I read it out. A hand suddenly grabs at my wrist. Confused, I put it away instinctively, and that's when someone grabs up the paper at the same time shoving me back. Jenna? Her face is locked and determined, grabbing my wrist and putting at the paper with her other hand. I probably would have given her the paper if she'd asked, but this sudden aggression has me automatically resisting. She grabs me and swings me around. We both fall against the bench under the window. Jenna's hand smacks against my nose, bringing tears to my eyes. I yelp as she pulls her fingers in, raking lines of fire down my nose with her claws. There's a pounding in my ears, and I distantly register that the drums have started up again. She twists out from under me and pulls away from the bench. When the fuck does she get this strong? I numbly keep my grip on her wrists as she spins, swinging me away from her. I lose my grip and stumble back, stepping wrong on my foot and rebending my ankle the exact same way I did last time. I yelp again, much more loudly this time, as I crumple to the ground. Cole swears and jumps over me at Jenna. Wait. I try to grab him by the hoof that's passing over me, but I miss miserably. As I sit up, I hear an ungodly, bestial snarling, and I look up to see Cole wrestling or kicking and scratching Jenna to the ground. That is fucking it. He pins her there while she writhes under him, trying to scratch at his face. Stop it, guys. Raven's still standing off to the side, his paws on his head, pulling at his ears. I crawl over to their writhing bodies, one eye wincing shut as each movement sends a lightning bolt through my leg. I grab at Jenna's hands, forcing them down above her head. Jenna, stop. Jenna suddenly kicks one of her legs up between Cole's legs and he kneels over her. Ah, fuck. He crumples over on top of Jenna, lying on her legs as he tries to pin his thighs together. Wow, chill out on that. Cole rears back and punches her face, landing a glancing blow, but it's enough to snap her face to the side. Stop it. I force myself between the two of them, shoving Cole's chest while straddling Jenna's neck. It's an awkward position, but I'm trying to protect her and stop her from retaliating at the same time. Stop it, the hell are you doing? I say it to both of them as Cole tries to reach around me for the paper in Jenna's hand. Jenna snarls up at me, but is softer this time. Her struggles die down a little, and after holding my gaze for about 10 seconds, she looks away. I notice a little bit of blood collecting on the front of her lips. Seeing the paper held loosely in her hand, I quickly reach out and snatch it back in case she tries to attack again. She doesn't, instead just laying there with her hands above her head, staring at the ceiling. I slowly push off the fox, taking Cole with me as I do. He's not fighting anymore either, instead taking the paper from me and holding it firmly in his hands while he glares at Jenna. So both of these guys, Cole and Jenna, are both possessed by these people who basically hate each other. So it's not actually Cole and Jenna trying to fight and hurt each other. It is their possessions that are doing this, but it's a horrible, uncomfortable sight. Raven, still with his fingers twisted around his ears, looks over at me. Yeah? Take Jenna upstairs, take a nap or something. I think we need to be kept separate. Raven's easily able to coax Jenna up off the floor, and they head upstairs, Jenna looking down at the floor all the while. I scoot over to Cole, holding my breath, as each drag sends another spasm through my leg. Only now am I really feeling the pain in my ankle. Cole's busy inspecting the note, as if he's worried it's damaged. She was going to try and fucking burn it. He holds it up to the candlelight. Like that would be getting back at me for earlier. She still thinks I burnt that fucking paper. How do you know that? The way she was looking at the candle right before she came at you, and she's just the kind of person that would do that. He looks at my ankle. You fuck up your ankle again? Yes. God, stupid bitch. Wow, this is really bad. Cole. He looks up at me. What? I've never heard you talk like that before. Cole shrugs, unfolding the paper. Well, I've never been attacked like that before. I look closely at his face. It's still Jenna. You hit her pretty hard? She kicked me in the nuts. Well, yeah, but it's just... Carl doesn't seem very interested at all in what I'm trying to say. Yeah, this possession has taken a bit of an aggressive toll on Nicole. She's not herself either. I think the same thing's happening to her. Same thing. Like what's happening to you? We know Jenna had ancestors in Echo at the very beginning. What if she was being affected by an ancestor just like Carl is? But for some reason deep down, I feel very uneasy about bringing up John in front of this Cole. Even if they were lovers, something's clearly wrong now. Carl shrugs. She's always been a kind of a bitch. I'll swallow down whatever I'm about to say next. Anyway, I'm gonna read this so we can move the fuck on, alright? Okay. I'm confused and worried. Did I make the wrong decision, telling Cole what to do last night? Possibly. But this isn't like him at all. This is what we wanted to do when we wanted to check out a different route of this game. The Ram holds up the letter, clearing his throat. My dearest John, I've been hearing terrible things lately. They say you've been accusing me of the most egregious monstrosities. I dare not believe them. In fact, I will not until I hear your words for myself. There must be a misunderstanding. Has one of my many political enemies pitted you against me? Are they using the missing native boys as a weapon against my campaign? I would not think that to be below them, but what concerns me most is you. Please visit me at my mansion. We must speak on this. I very much look forward to your company and believe that we can soon set this straight. Yours forever, James. I look up at Cole. He looks back at me. So, what do you think this means? Cole shrugs. John clearly did something terrible to James, right? Well, maybe, but what? It sounds like he tried to frame him or something? I remember the newspaper clipping that has somehow gone up in flames. Hey, that newspaper article that burned up says something about a Meseta kid that went missing. So John tried to pin the missing native boys on James? Maybe. We still don't know if John was doing it anyway. James doesn't seem to know either. I wonder if maybe the James inside of Cole has any idea of what's going on right now. If he does, he's not saying anything. I look at the Ram, who's in the middle of rereading the letter. You okay? I'm fine. And your balls? Cole shrugs again. They're fine. I think about making a joke, about making them feel better, but it doesn't really feel appropriate right now. I'm more concerned about Jenna. I think she's becoming more dangerous the longer we're here. Yeah. It seems that at this point, Jenna isn't really Jenna anymore. We need to have a talk with her about resisting John. Yeah, I mean, James is helping you, right? He's helping me, yeah, but John's not helping her at all. I look in the direction of the door as a loud click emanates from it. Cole's long ears perk and he follows my gaze. We both stare at it for a few seconds. It's unlocked. Cole gets to his feet and strides confidently over to the door. Careful. I say, a little apprehensive that something might open it from the other side. Cole doesn't say anything as he stands in front of the door. Reaching out, he rests a hand on the handle and gives it a slight push. It shifts open a few inches. Cole looks back at me. Get the others. So we're talking about whether we should open this door or not, and Chase is a bit worried that we're taking things too fast. Cole clears his throat. Trust me, we're going somewhere. The Ram leaves it at that, and I'm left to wonder if James knows exactly where we're going. If he does, why doesn't Cole tell us now? How in control is he? It's something that I'd like to bring up later, since I'm not going to be doing that in front of Jenna. You can stay here if you want, Otter. It takes me a second to realise that she's talking to me. Yeah, John doesn't even know our name. That's how possessed she is. Is she really that far gone? Yes. I just hope that if we reach the end of this, we can get her back somehow. You'd like that, wouldn't you? I cough, clearing my throat, as I realise another fight could be about to start. No, I'll go. I just wanted to think about it for a second. Have you thought about it then? Yeah. I look at Cole. He's still staring stoically at the door. Well, if that's all, then let's go. Jenna steps forward to grab the door handle, and I bite my tongue to keep from saying that we should wait again. The door swings open to reveal blackness, just like last time. Unlike the last time though, there's a spot of flickering light in the distance. The fire. Everything's quiet now, no drum beats, but the darkness is unnatural. It's inky and thick like it's alive. I get the unnerving feeling that it's trying to eat the light from the fire. Maybe toward the fire? Jenna suddenly steps forward, just like that, she's swallowed by the darkness. Jenna, wait. She ignores me. Cole gives his shoulders another shrug. That's all we can see, so I assume that's the right direction to go. I see her form pass in front of the firelight a few times, and then she's gone. Okay, here we go. Despite his nervousness, Raven still sounds cheerful about stepping into oblivion. Lean on me. I'm suddenly yanked sideways to lean against the ram's sturdy shoulder, and then we're off, Cole tugging me into the darkness. Stay close. Yeah, we're immersed in blackness. Not only do things go dark visually, but the change is physical too. I don't know if it's all in my head, but I feel heavier, like the darkness is pushing down on my shoulders. It's colder too, to the point where I can feel the heat radiating off Cole's body when I brush up against him. Try to move faster. Okay. Despite my best attempts, the going is slow, and not just because of my injured and probably broken ankle. The ground is uneven and rocky, like we're outside, walking in the desert, which I realise is exactly what we're doing when we walk straight into what feels like sagebrush. Cole thrashes around with the hand not holding onto me, and we're able to sort of stumble around it. Where the hell are we? I mutter as I stub my toe painfully on a rock. Outside? Yeah, but where? Desert. So do you think that we're still in Echo? Cole's quiet for a moment. No. I wonder if maybe all the others, TJ, Leo and Flynn, are out there too, in the darkness. I want to call out, but I'm too nervous that it's going to attract something to us. I still remember the black figure dancing around the fire we're walking toward at this very moment. We're close enough now that I'm starting to be able to make out Cole in the darkness. I look back at the house to see how far we've gone. All that I can make out now are two rectangles of light. One for the door we came out of, and one for the kitchen window. In the latter, a dark figure stands framed by the faint light inside. I squint, not really sure of what I'm seeing, and then it moves, disappearing from the window. I start walking, and Cole stops with me, looking back over his shoulder. What? I don't... Did one of the others go back? The black figure appears again, this time in the doorway of the house. I don't even have time to react to that before it steps forward and the door swings shut with a distant snap. Oppressive blackness takes its place. I grab onto Cole more tightly. The hell? My mind flashes back to the black thing I've seen crawling out of the wardrobe. Come on. I nudge into Cole's side, trying to get him to hurry along while resisting the urge to try and run on my twisted ankle. I'm realising that it might come to that. Raven, Jenna. I call out into the darkness ahead of us, wanting to warn them. Over our ragged breathing, though, there's dead silence all around us, except for a drum beat. Either they can't hear us or they can't respond. Cole's gripping onto me with both of his hands, practically holding me off my feet as he pulls me along. Suddenly, he stops before almost growling at me. Jesus Christ, get on my back. He lets me go and crouches down in front of me. Even with everything going on, I'm a bit hurt by his tone, like I'm the main problem right now. I'm there before he even finishes his sentence, and soon my face is bouncing off his hard skull as he starts sprinting toward the fire. Whether it's in my head or not, I swear I can hear a slithering sound behind me, like a snake sliding over the dry leaves. I shiver, not wanting to look back, but I do anyway, trying to peer into the darkness. Of course I can't see anything, but I swear something flashes in front of the lone rectangle of light coming from the cabin's kitchen window. The rustling sound gets louder, and now I can't pretend that I'm imagining it. It casts a picture into my mind, the black shadow creature contorting and bending through the sagebrush that Cole was having so much trouble moving through. I hold on to one of his horns and lean toward his ear. Cole, it's getting closer. And then my stomach lurches as it feels like the floor suddenly just drops away. Next thing I know, my nose smacks hard into the back of Cole's head before I flip over, landing on my back in what feels like a sea of sharp rocks. I lay there for a second dazed, staring at the black ocean above me, wondering if any of this is real. Am I still dreaming? Maybe I'll just wake up in my dorm, probably late to my legal and ethical issues in journalism class. Fuck, get up! A muffled voice breaks through my haze of confusion and pain. Then I'm being yanked back up as Cole pulls me to my feet and forcefully shoves me back onto his back. Get up! I'm trying. I can barely mumble through my numb mouth, which feels like it's full of pennies. I can see I'm making dark stains on the back of Cole's shirt. It feels like my face has been caved in. I wonder if my nose is broken, but the fear of the pursuit is returning, and I quickly clutch at Cole's horns before I resume his sprint. He finally comes to a stumbling halt in front of the massive bonfire, which had looked so small from the cabin. We both stare up at it, the heat almost unbearable. The whispers behind me reach a crescendo, the hissing just over my shoulder. Shit. What are we supposed to do? My voice raises in pitch as I look back behind us, the black shape now discernible in the firelight as it slithers around the rocks and sagebrush. It's like a person imitating a snake. I grip onto Cole as he turns to face it and then takes a step back, and then another. I don't fucking know. I cling to the ram and I can feel him trembling underneath me. As the creature reaches the edge of the circle in the firelight, Cole turns and starts running past the fire, and then my muscle seize up, my jaw clenches, my eyes roll back, and I feel myself falling backward. The heat is almost unbearable, and my fur is damp from sweat, the skin underneath itching and uncomfortable. I can feel the sun on my face, the brightness turning the insides of my eyelids a dazzling red. I don't want to open them though, no, I just want to sleep. I almost do fall asleep, but a distant chorus of shouts and screams jolts me back awake. Now I do try to open my eyes, but I can't. It's like they're glued shut. I reach up to paw at them, but my arms won't lift. I must be dreaming, stuck in paralysis. So I lay there, listening to the shouting and screaming, imagining an angry mob. After what seems like hours, the voices fade, and the red turns deeper, darker, blood-like, as if the sun is setting. And that's when I can finally drift away, back to sleep. A soft choking moan brings me back to the surface. I'm still hot and sweaty, but the blazing sun isn't shining in my face anymore. I wiggle my fingers and shift my arms a bit, feeling them glide over fabric. At least I'm not paralysed anymore. Another moan, followed by a coughing sound, forces me to open my eyes, realising it's not part of a dream. And then we're back in the room. Let's see what else is different. Okay, you've seen this before. We wake back up in the basement area and we find Jenna. Someone tried to hang Jenna and we rescue her. Cole shows up, we cut her down and she starts to recover. You're okay, right? Fine. Raven looks around the room. Well, looks like we're still here. Cole lets out a sigh. And that's how it's going to stay if we just sit here? I frown. Hey, we just went through something really fucked up. We should be able to sit down for a sec. It's been a second, hasn't it? He waves his hand at Jenna. Look what just happened. Monster's dead. Cole. I trail off. What? Cole isn't himself. I already know that. If I'd known telling him to let James help us would turn him into this, I don't think I would have asked him to do it. I don't really want to think about it, but he seems like he would have let Jenna die if I hadn't been there. The way he just stood there. There's a soft snap, and I look over to see that Jenna's pulled the rope from her throat. How's your neck? Jenna rubs it. Fine. Her voice has an air of complete disinterest despite the situation. She seems distracted too, her eyes flicking around at the ceiling, like she's expecting something to happen up there. I look up too, but all I see is concrete that's spiderwebbed with cracks. The rope, I notice, is hanging from nothing. It all just grows from the ceiling. Cole lets out another sigh next to me. Are we ready to move yet? I feel a small flicker of annoyance. Can you call it for 1 minute? Cole's quiet for a moment, clearly sensing the change in my mood. I immediately regret it, but I don't have the energy to take it back. Yeah, sure, I guess we've been sitting around most of the time we've been here, why not a few more minutes? Wow, I guess he's not really feeling bad about it then. Actually, why don't we just stay here? Just keep putting those grilled cheese sandwiches out from the cupboard, right? I stare at Cole, but before I can say anything, Jenna speaks up. We're going to get out. Her voice is dark, firm, and completely unlike the way Jenna has ever spoken before. We both look at her and she just sits there, legs crossed, staring hard at us. Well, at me. Cole sits up. John. Now she looks at Cole, and it's out of instinct, her eyes darting to him before looking back at me. I recognise it as that almost unstoppable urge to look the way you hear your names being called. Yeah, we'd suspected that Jenna had been acting weird, but to think that she was that consumed by him. Well, Kyle is too, so it's not all that shocking. I haven't asked her directly about it yet, so I guess now's the time. Hey, Jenna, you feeling okay? I'm fine. It's just that you haven't seemed like yourself for a while now. What do you mean? I looked over at Cole as he shifts himself around on the floor to look directly at Jenna. His face is hard, dark. He doesn't say anything though. I cleared my throat. Me and Cole were talking earlier about a presence that he was feeling, like he felt James talking to him. Sounds like he's going crazy. Cole snorts loudly, but doesn't say anything. Well, it's kind of made him different, actually. I glance at Cole, but he still keeps quiet. Jenna keeps that stern look on her face, frowning at me. What are you trying to say? Well, do you know a guy called John? John Begay? Not really. You keep mentioning him, but no one's told me who he is, aside from the fact that he was hanged. I remember the picture I'd taken of John back in Cole's crawl space. My hand feels my phone through my pocket as I almost reach in to put it out before remembering that it's dead. He was in some of the pictures with James Hendricks, the founder of the town. Jenna stares at me blankly. James was Cole's ancestor, right? We think that John was your ancestor too. He was like a fox and had the same last name. So wasn't your family in Echo since the beginning? Yes. So it seems like you're probably related to him, right? Jenna stares hard at me, then at Cole. Our family doesn't have records like yours, Cole. Cole gives Jenna a deadpan look. I butt in. See, Jenna doesn't talk like that. You wouldn't say something like that. Jenna doesn't say anything, keeping up her glare at Cole. What I'm saying is that John is in your head, kind of like James is in Cole's. I don't think so. I sigh loudly. Something's different with you, it's obvious. We can all see it. Raven suddenly cuts in. I mean, I don't know you that well, but if we're gonna go by how normal people act, you're not acting very normal. We're not in a normal situation like that though, are we? We all go quiet then. Besides, isn't it about clearing James's name or whatever? Why are we talking about John? Jenna stares at Cole, eyes moving across his face like she's searching for something. Cole stares hard right back at her. Besides, if he's not fighting it, why should I? Jenna's expression remains emotionless. So, are you? Possessed, I mean. Jenna goes quiet again. I rub my face hard with my hands. Apparently she's not going to confirm it, but I think it's pretty obvious. So what the hell am I supposed to do with two possessed friends on my hands? It's not me you have to worry about, Chase. Kyle and I share a look. Jenna, what do you mean by that? A strange look crosses Jenna's face, breaking out of the stoic detachment she's been portraying for the last however long it's been. It's confused, but it's also like she wants to say something with her mouth open. Jenna? She seems to be frozen like that for a moment, before she seems to finally give up, shaking her head. I don't know. She glares at Cole, and Cole glares right back. This time Raven cuts in before Cole can say anything. Is something stopping John from saying something? I watch Jenna closely, and that's when she finally looks away. I don't know. Jenna, or Cole, are John and James upset with one another, you know? Jenna shrugs, not looking at me. Cole lets out a sigh of frustration. What we need to be doing is figuring out how to get the hell out of here. Listen, I don't know much about these guys, but it sounds like James and John are trying to tell us something. Raven looks back and forth between Cole and Jenna, and trying to stop the other one from telling us something. I rub my face with my hands again, feeling frustrated, just wishing these two arseholes could tell us what it is they want to say. So they're trying to tell us something about the past, and they both don't want us to know what the other one knows. Maybe that's what we're trying to figure out? So it's not just as simple as clearing James's name. John has something to say too, and he sure as hell wants us to hear it. Cole or James, do you want to say something? Cole says nothing. I close my eyes. Fine, so we're stuck in the middle of a possessed ghost fight and neither of you are going to talk about it. I really don't have anything else to go off of, maybe. I try to think back and think aloud, talking toward Raven, since the other two don't seem interested in helping. So, when I was doing research, they both got convicted of sodomy. John was hanged, and James left to start his ice cream business. Why wasn't James hanged too? His influence on the town, probably? Well, I can see how that might cause problems between the two of them. I look over at Cole, who's still looking at Jenna. Jenna's picking the rope in her lap. There isn't much more to talk about at this point, unless one of the other spirits decides to do something else that can help us along somehow. So, what are we gonna do next? Let's find out. Let's skip ahead. Okay, I've skipped ahead a long way. We've come back into like the cursed version of Echo. We have found the hanging body that had the letter in its mouth. It swallowed it. So, yeah, there was another piece of paper in the pocket, and that is what we are about to read. I start with the big bold title. Echo researcher uncovers town's serial killer past. Most might know Trisha Hendricks as the CEO of Hen's Ice Cream, but Echo locals will know her to be an avid history buff as well. I just love how it connects all of us, how it shows that everything has happened for a reason. But even she didn't realise what her research would uncover. According to Hendricks, the town's founder, James, had an affair with another man, and both may have been hiding a dark secret. You never know what you'll find out, but to think that James had a homosexual relationship and with an alleged serial killer, well, it's really something. According to Hendricks' research, James may have been in a romantic relationship with a native fox by the name of John Begay. Town records indicate that Begay was accused of committing multiple child murders. Hendricks says the crimes were sexual in nature. I reached the bottom of the page, where the rough tear begins. Clearly there's more to the article, but Jenna... I look up just in time to see a flash of steel before Cole jumps back, pulling me along with him. I'm like a ragdoll being yanked back before being thrown to the side. I go stumbling away with several yelps, each one in sync with the steps I take on my swollen ankle. I finally go down, as gently as I can, on my hands and knees as the pain almost blinds me. The sound of quick footsteps in gravel, along with a loud laugh, has me raising my head back up to see what's going on. Through the tears, I see Cole dancing around, dodging back and forth, as Jenna swipes at him with the knife. The laughing is coming from Cole as he leaps out of the way with a nimbleness I've never seen him have. Whoops, almost had me there. Cole easily ducks around another slash from the fox. Jenna, on the other hand, isn't saying anything. Instead, her eyes are locked on Cole, teeth grit with what looks like foam gathering at the corners of her mouth. I suddenly comprehend what I'm seeing. One of my friends is trying to kill the other. Jenna, stop! I push myself unsteadily to my feet, trying to limp after them. But it's not much use. They're both moving so fast away from me, around me, as they continue their little dance. Even Raven seems too shocked to move, backing away as the two fight past him. Cole, Jenna! I look around for something, anything to get this to stop, but Jenna seems hell-bent on stabbing Cole. You are always a terrible fighter, you know that. Cole dodges to the side again and snatches up the wrist of the paw that's holding the knife. In one swift movement, Cole uses his other hand to punch Jenna across the face, sending the fox to the ground in a heap. The cracking sound it makes causes fur to stand up all over my body, and I limp toward Jenna. Guys, that's enough. I'm looking for the knife. I just want to get it away from Jenna before she can hurt anybody else or herself. But Cole is already standing next to her, and he bends down to pick up a rock. It's about the size of a softball, and it has a pointy end on it. He points that end down and raises it over Jenna. Cole! I lunge at the ram and tackle him around the waist. He must have been completely focused on Jenna because I'm able to knock him over pretty easily. He makes an oomph sound above me before we crash into the ground. What the fuck are you doing? I push myself up over the ram, reaching above us to try to pry the rock from his hand. Desperately I look behind me. Raven, get Jenna, get her away somewhere. Raven's standing there, pulling at his ears as he stares at the fox on the ground. Help her. I look back down at Cole, and he's staring right back at me, breathing hard. Cole. I call his name, not only to get a response, but also because I'm not sure that's who I'm talking to. He doesn't say anything, and just goes on staring at me, but he does let go of the rock, and it rolls gently from his hand to the desert floor. Cole, let's go back inside, okay? I use a delicate tone, feeling like I'm talking to some unhinged stranger. Cole stares at me a moment longer, then lets out a soft huff through his nose with a half laugh. Yeah, sure. You're done, right? Yes. So, I'm gonna let you up, and we're going back to your house, okay? Yep. Slowly, I get up, standing in the way of Jenna, in case Cole goes for her. I look back at Raven. Pick up the knife, throw it into the desert or something? I lower my voice, stepping back a bit so I can lean toward the husky, even though I feel Cole's eyes are on me. Take it down to the basement, and I will take Cole upstairs. We'll figure something out later, okay? Okay. I turn back to Cole and reach my hand out toward him. Dude, my ankle's so fucked. Can you help me back up to your bedroom? Cole lets out a grunt, and then another half-laughed snort. Sure. He reaches out to me, eyes glancing down at the crumpled fox as he does. I can hear Jenna stirring a bit, so I gently push into Cole to hurry our trek back to the mansion. I glance back a few times. The last time I see Raven crouching over Jenna, mouth moving as he talks to her. As soon as we enter Cole's parents' bedroom, the ram leaves me to stand next to the bed. You going to sleep? Cole turns away from me and starts to walk around the room, looking at the walls, the lights, even under the bed. Maybe. Not really tired though. Instead of sitting on the bed, I limp toward the balcony to look out the glass doors. I just barely catch a glimpse of Jenna and Raven moving toward the mansion, Jenna leaning on the husky for support. I watch them disappear underneath the balcony. Cole, I don't know what we're gonna do. I turn to look at him. Were you really going to hit her with the rock? Cole pauses and glances at me. No, I was gonna hit her arms, make it harder for her to go after us again. I frown, since I can't really remember if it looked that way. He seemed to point it right toward her head. Either way, it's fucked, thinking about having to incapacitate one of my best friends. Cole starts to open the drawers in the dresser before slamming them shut with a loud snap. Are you looking for something? Cole doesn't answer, instead pulling the drawers completely out of the dresser instead. Cole. What are you doing? More silence. Cole! What? Cole snaps at me. I shrink back for a moment and then glare. Don't yell at me, what happened out there? Cole turns back to the dresser, sticking his head inside the opening where the drawer once was. His horns clack around against the wood. He tried to stab me, what else is there to know? I sigh, looking down at my ankle. I'm startled at how swollen it is now, unrecognisable. I wonder if a sprain can be bad enough that it needs to be amputated? I try not to think about it and move to the bed, sitting down gingerly. Cole makes his way over to the bedside table next to me. I'm talking about the way you're acting, how you are laughing and stuff. Cole shrugs his shoulders, made vague by the way he seems to be wrestling the table out of the corner, looking behind it. The whole thing's ridiculous, isn't it? Gotta lighten the mood of humour sometimes. While she's trying to stab you? Another shock at remembering the attempted murder, though it's duller. Cole yanks the drawer from the table violently. What are you doing? Looking for bullshit notes, that's why we're here, isn't it? I reach out and grab Cole's arm, at which he freezes and finally looks at me. I swallow, trying to think of how to phrase this. Cole, are you anymore? Of course I'm me. The ram pulls his arm away from my grasp. I shake my head. We know Jenna isn't. I guess in a weird fucked up way she was going to snap eventually, but... Cole keeps rummaging around, and I wonder if he's even listening at all. And I could sort of tell you weren't either, but now I'm just having trouble seeing you at all anymore. Cole finally sets the drawer down, looking around the room. He wipes his hands off on his shorts, then slowly moves closer before sitting down next to me on the bed. I'm still me. We're all just under a lot of pressure right now, you know, dude. I guess. It's strange. It's like he's someone who's trying to pretend to be Cole. That idea puts me on edge. I look away, thinking back on the attack. That newspaper clipping, it makes sense why that would set John off, right? Cole snorts. I'm not surprised. I told you earlier that they want us to see the truth before we can leave, but wasn't that the truth? Cole doesn't say anything. I shake my head. Unless it's not, I don't know. Cole remains silent. I guess it was stupid to think James would help me. At this point, I'm equally suspicious of the two of them. I lay back on the bed, rubbing my eyes. I'd thought that maybe letting James help us would lead us to the way out of here, but now, it feels as if I just lost a friend. Cole's hand suddenly comes to rest on my shoulder. You just upset that we didn't get to go all the way earlier. What? I furrow my brow. That's the furthest thing from my mind right now. But the ram turns to me on the bed, a coy smile on his face. What are you talking about? Cole rolls over on the bed, to the other side, and then reaches out to rub my arm again. What are you doing? I watch him, rubbing through the fur on my arm, picking up where we left off. Cole runs his hand up under my shirt before pushing the fabric up to expose my torso. I can't help but react to the touch. Despite what just happened not 20 minutes ago, despite the way Cole's acting, despite that it's not Cole? Or is it? Something seems a bit more familiar about him now. My urges are made all the worse as the ram runs his hand down my chest, toward the waistband of my pants. I don't know if this is a good idea right now. I reach up to push my shirt back down. Are you sure? Not even a hand job? Cole pauses with his hand on my stomach, gently moving his fingers around in the fur. The bulge in my pants is kind of obvious. We should be thinking of a way to escape. Still, I stare at the hand on my body. Well, we're not going anywhere in the meantime. Besides, didn't we come here to rest? Might as well get one out while you can. I take back what I said about familiarity. Cole's unusually confident, weirdly seductive, and it has my heart beating fast. Might help you get to sleep. Something feels strange in the room, a low, surreal drone that makes it feel as if I'm in a dream. My movements feel numb, like they're not my own. My urges are not my own. It feels old and overpowering, this feeling, and Cole seems to be radiating it. At this point, I don't really know what's normal or okay, or basically what reality is anymore, but I do know that my body wants this. Maybe real quick, this is a bad idea. This is some cursed possessed shit. Cole presses his lips to the side of my face and then lower toward my neck. At the same time, his hand goes back to my shirt that I've lowered to the top of my stomach and pushes it all the way up over my face. With just a moment of hesitation, I raise my arms up so he can completely get rid of the shirt. Cole pauses, looking over my torso again. "You're in shape." I don't say anything. The way he's scanning his eyes over my body makes my heart skip a beat. I look over toward the door, wondering if maybe I should check if there's a lock. Not only because Raven coming in and seeing what we're up to at a time like this would be bad, but also because Jenna seeing this in the state of mind she's in would be a disaster. How fucking immature am I that I'm doing this right now? Cole, I don't know if this is a good idea right now. What if Raven or... What? You know Raven snuck off in the cabin to beat one out? You deserve this. I blush. I'm just helping you out. Okay, so obviously I've glimpsed through that myself, and obviously I'm going to censor some of that out and I'm going to skip parts of that, but you can gather what happened, and if you want to see that scene yourself, you're just going to have to play the game, I'm afraid, or see somebody else's playthrough. But yeah, they had a moment and it was kind of cursed and foreboding and a little bit possessed, and I'm not sure what to make of that. What was that? Okay, Cole's sitting up now, dumping one of the several pillows behind us from their pillowcase. You bit my ear. I pull my hand away to see that it's not bleeding somehow. Cole shrugs. Oh yeah, some people like that. I guess you don't. No. I frown at how nonchalant the ram is. I mean, it was really hard. Cole wipes his hand off on the pillowcase and then tosses it over to me. Sorry, I won't do it next time. Next time? Okay, I'm tired. I'm gonna go lay down too. I'm a little put off. Instead of the primal urges I felt before, I feel empty, almost guilty at the thought of what we just done. I'm reminded that Jenna and Raven are just a few floors below us. I should honestly go down and see how they're doing, but I can't really do that with Cole here. I look over my shoulder and see Cole laying on his back, eyes closed. He might already be asleep before I've even pulled my pants up. It's a bit odd that he's not trying to spoon me again like last time. I guess it's fine, since I'm not really in the mood to be spooned. I pulled up my pants, wanted to take a shower, but too exhausted to check the bathroom for running water. I lay on my side, idly wondering if maybe I should go downstairs, since Cole seems to be asleep, but... A familiar cackle far in the distance pulls me out of my sleep. I open my eyes to a dark room, seeing the faint outline of the doorway. Is it night time? Does time move in this place? I sit up in the bed looking around. It's dark, but I can see the outlines of the dresser beside the table, along with the empty bed I'm in. Where's Cole? I swing my legs off the bed and feel lush, fuzzy carpet. My heart leaps in my chest. Am I back? I don't want to get my hopes up because of what happened last time, but this place looks exactly like Cole's parents' room. I reach out to the lamp next to me to feel around for a switch, but it illuminates the moment I touch it. And that's when I see the outline of a small person in the hall. I jump, eyes staring out into the dark hallway. A small fox stares back. I have enough time to see the overalls, a white shirt, before suddenly he turns and vanishes into the dark. I hear the patter of his footsteps down the hall and then down the stairs before it fades off into silence. I'm backed up again against the headboard, heart hammering in my chest, staring at the dark rectangle. Quickly glancing around the room again, I don't see Cole anywhere. Slowly, I push myself out of the bed and pad around the room, keeping an eye on the door in case the fox came back. I glance out the glass doors as I pass them to the dark balcony. I can't see anything, though I do see specks of light down in the town. From what I can see, it looks normal as well. Swallowing loudly, I move toward the hallway. Something seems to be pushing me forward, toward the darkness. I look into the hallway, down toward the stairs, but it's completely black. Moving my hand up and down along the wall for a light switch, I hit one and am almost blinded by the bright light that shines down on me. I shield my eyes as I force myself to watch the stairs, but again I see nothing. Swallowing again, I force myself forward toward the stairs and finally down the stairs. I try not to blink, eyes wide, watching for the little fox. But I don't have my hopes up that this is real anymore. After seeing the fox boy, I know I'm still not in reality, at least not all the way. Well, maybe I am back, but those things from the other side have crossed over a bit and that's what I saw. I'm in the kitchen when I suddenly see a set of horns in the darkness moving toward the stairs before they disappear. Cole. I hurry toward the stairs, feeling again along the walls for a light switch. I hear clopping at the bottom, along with voices, small, childlike voices. Stumbling down the stairs, I call out again. Cole, Jenna, Raven. I start to wonder if I've left the other three somehow. Am I alone? Did we get separated? Soon I'm running through the basement hall toward the sound of the voices. I'm at the door to the crawl space, and without hesitation I unlatch the door and throw it open to find the same small fox. I see now that he's just a boy, maybe 8 or 9 years old, in old-fashioned clothes. He stares at me, stoic and unmoving. I stare back in silence, then I see something. 2 towering horns materialise above the boy, and I see Cole's face. And then arms close around the fox's throat, and the boy opens his mouth to scream. I jolt awake on Cole's parents' bed. I'm back, it's bright again, and I look around to see the hardwood floor, the bunched up pillowcase on the bedside table. But Cole's not there, and there's still screaming. Help, stop! The sound is distant, coming from downstairs. My body is filled with adrenaline, both from the dream and from the screaming that I suddenly realise is very real. I jump off the bed and immediately go down to my knees as my ankle screams in agony. I have no choice though, and I force myself to my feet, half hopping, half limping my way to and through the hallway. It's easier now that I've got the walls and rails that I can half support myself on. My heart thuds in my chest. I'm still bleary and confused from being asleep just 30 seconds ago. What I do know is that I have to help Raven and probably Jenna too. I don't have time to dwell on the realisation that I've made a stupid mistake going to sleep and not keeping an eye on Cole. No, no, no! Stumbling through the kitchen, I hear the screams coming from down the flight of stairs to the basement before being cut off suddenly. I feel my heart sink as I limp and jump to the stairs, practically falling down the stairs to the basement below. I squint down the hall, unable to clearly see in the darkness. What I do get is a vague sense of movement in the dark to the left. I move blindly in that direction, not sure what I'm going to find or what I'm going to do. Cole. I feel along the wall. Then I feel nothing as I find a doorway. Reaching out for a light switch, I flip it on and see that I'm in the weight room. And there's blood on the floor. I stare around in horror at the 3 big splotches, and as I stare at them, I think I even see them spreading. I go down to my knees, not even feeling my ankle at this point. I stare hard at the floor, looking around but not seeing anyone. Jenna, Raven. I call out their names in a hushed whisper. Footsteps. I'm hit harder than I've ever been hit in my life. The cold concrete of the ground meets my face as my limbs go out from underneath me. The feeling of rough, dirty ground against my face makes me crinkle my nose. I try to reach up and brush at it, but my hands don't come up. My shoulders ache horribly, and so do my knees. Not to mention my ankle, though that almost feels numb at this point. I slowly crack open my eyes, seeing nothing but dirt. Something has my limbs tied, and I'm twisted painfully into some sort of hog tie, my forearms stuck to my ankles. A bright light shines on me, almost blinding with how powerful it is. I can hear it droning on, a fluorescent buzz that tickles the nape of my neck. I hear some faint clopping sounds, along with the shifting of heavy boxes. I try to keep quiet as I look around, unsure of where I am, or who it is that's near me. While it's hard to see through the bright white light, I can make out stacks of boxes around me. Plastic bins, I think, like what Cole has in his crawl space. Is this where I am? I'm not sure, because behind the bins are large wooden beams set against packed earth. It reminds me of the old mines I saw pictures of during my research. The ceiling is way too high to be the crawl space as well. All the while, I can hear little giggles, whispers, and shushing sounds. There are patters of little feet underneath the louder clops. Slowly, I remember what had happened earlier, the spatters of blood and the footsteps behind me. I look up toward the sounds of the clopping and see the big form of a ram shifting boxes around, throwing lids aside. Cole? It sort of looks like him, but he seems bigger, more shaggy. I shift my gaze to the dark corners of the room we're in, and I gasp as I see a pair of eyes staring at me from the darkness. A little fox, and what looks like a small grin below the eyes, just barely visible. The sounds of shifting bins stops, and I hear the clopping coming closer to me. You awake, boy? I flinch, but pretend to be asleep anyway, not moving until the ram suddenly crouches up by my head, causing me to cringe again. He feels around my body, checking the bindings before patting me on the face. I know you're awake, but it doesn't matter now. The ram stands up and starts moving away. Wait. I wince, not really sure if that had been a good idea. Either way, he stops and turns back to me. I look up at the ram, though it's hard with the way he's outlined in the incredibly bright light. It could actually be that light, but he definitely looks different, much bigger, his horns wider and more grown out. What? His voice is different too, deeper, more resonant. This isn't Carl anymore, but I guess I already know that. What happened? My voice sounds tiny and weak in comparison to the big ram. What do you mean, what happened? Cole, James, sets back to moving around bins, opening lids, tossing stuff out. Where's Raven and Jenna? You mean John? I don't say anything in response to that, still trying to look around. I keep catching glimpses of tiny feet and pairs of eyes just on the fringes of the dark nothingness. Their whispers and small giggles are a constant undertone. He's gone. I turn my attention back to the ram. What do you mean? I mean what I say, Otter. I swallow my fear, trying to let the numbness of my ankle take over the rest of my body. Where did he go? James chuckles. I don't know. I used the knife and... The ram makes wiggly motions with his fingers above his horns. Gone. James shrugs his big shoulders. How? The ram shakes his head again. I know as much of this place as you, Otter. What about Raven? Who? The dog? The husky? Cole shrugs again. Same thing. Silence drags on as the ram offers nothing else, turning back to his work. I work my hands around a bit, feeling a good deal of give in the bindings. They don't really feel like any sort of rope, they're more like clothes. I close my eyes, try not to let the overpowering fear take over. Cole, are you there? No response. Another giggle to my right draws my attention. I see another fox, even smaller than the first one. He dashes past the light, his figure blotting it out for just a moment. I hear a slap, and then a snarl from James. Little shits. I watch as the fox disappears into the darkness. I stare for a while before quietly venturing another question. Who are they? Another pair of eyes dances around behind the light. James doesn't respond. I remember the newspaper clippings about the missing boys, serial killer. Well, can't find all of them, but this is probably enough. I hear some rustling, then a huge jumble of thuds and clattering sounds as James dumps a bin onto the dirt-covered ground. The ram stomps off, disappearing behind the light. Things go quiet for a moment, aside from the distant clopping of the ram's footsteps. Then the whispering starts up again, and I feel several pairs of eyes on me. First 1, 2, 5 tiny figures appear in front of the light. I can hear more behind me. Who are you, please? I try to cringe into a tight ball, but the bindings have been terribly exposed. They're dressed in old-fashioned clothes, overalls, denim, and some are shirtless. Maybe it's Meseta. What do you want? I close my eyes, waiting, wondering if maybe they'll kill me. It would probably be for the best. I'm tired of this nightmare. Fingers start poking at my wrists. Hey. I try to jerk away, but as I do, my left hand slips out of the bindings. I pause, and then the loud bang comes from toward the light, and the small figures all disappear with a rush of wind. Goddamn little shits. James mutters from behind the light. I hear the sound of sloshing liquid inside of a large container. As discreetly as I can, I start to try and work my other hand around, using my free one to loosen up the bindings. It's definitely closed, and they're poorly tied together. The sloshing sounds get a bit louder as James steps in front of the floodlight. Then he tips the container he's holding upside down, and I sing a long nozzle, light shining through the translucent neck. I realise what it is as I hear liquid pattering onto the pile James has made. The smell of gasoline hits my nose as I start to panic. Cole, wait, stop. My other hand pops free as I start to writhe around, but it's my legs that I need to get me out of here. Cole, James, please don't do this. Can you let me go first? James moves away from the pole to pour the gas on the other bins. Why are you doing this to me? He flashes me a grin before continuing to splash gas onto all the bins, walking in a circle around me. Getting rid of evidence, and you're part of the evidence. The whispers get more excited, the children running back and forth in front of the floodlight. I would have stabbed you earlier, but I lost it in that damn husky when I put it through his gut. James glances back at me. This is what happens when you meddle. Once Cole completes the circle of bins, he disappears behind the floodlight again. At that point, I start to pull at the bindings wildly, tugging at my ankles, internally screaming at every tug on my injury. This time the foxes don't approach. They just watch from the darkness. Help me. I sob through clenched teeth at them, but they don't move. I stop struggling, instead trying to feel through the bindings, tugging here and there, trying to loosen something. Finally, I start to feel the knots shift a bit. My right leg comes free. The whispers crescendo, along with some giggling sounds. I hear James coming back, and I try to keep twisted up in my feigned hog-tie position. A glow appears in the darkness, and I see James step in front of the floodlight with a lighter in his hand. Sorry, Otter, but I need to thank you and your friends for finally bringing this all to a close. The ram puts his free hand to his chest. I really thought I would spend a lot longer worrying about all this getting out, but now... He raises the lighter. I can finally put this to an end. A small figure runs from behind the light, and with a loud smack, the lighter goes flying. It's flung in my direction, and thankfully, it goes out as it flies through the air and skitters on the dirt toward me. I drop the facade and uncurl, snatching the lighter up and struggling to stand. I'm just in time to see a huge ram charging me, his horns down, aimed straight at my chest. I jump to the side, but get clipped on the elbow, sending me and the lighter spinning through the air. James doesn't even go for me, instead disappearing into the dark after the lighter. I don't wait to see how it turns out, rushing toward the exit of the mine. I'm just a few feet away from the exit when I hear a huge whooshing sound, and wind seems to rush from the exit, almost blowing me back. Breath is sucked from my lungs, and I go down to my knees, covering my head, as it feels like all my fur is going to get burned off. I look behind me at the blinding fire. Cole! I cover my mouth and nose trying to breathe, but the heat beats me back like a physical force. And now everything is real. I'm in the crawl space, the massive beams are gone, the ceiling's lower, and there's no more mine. I back up into the doorway, getting blasted with smoke. Cole! I scream as loud as I can, all the while I'm still moving back. And then I see the familiar horns, and Carl appears from the smoke, and flames, singed but alive. He charges at me, and I see the rage in his eyes. I might be back in the mansion, but Cole is not. I back away into the basement, out of the crawl space, ducking low as smoke billows over me. It looks like Cole's coming after me, but as he reaches out, tiny little paws grasp around his waist, his chest and his face, putting him back into the crawl space. Cole reaches out, latching onto the doorframe, snarling with rage. His eyes are wide, spittle flying from his mouth as he fights to pull himself from the grasp of the small foxes. I watch and only hesitate for a moment before I reach out to grasp one of Cole's hands. He might be possessed, he might have tried to kill me, but my friend is still in there somewhere, and there's no way in hell I'll willingly let him burn to death. I lean back, pulling the ram as hard as I can, getting the face full of smoke as I stand to get some leverage. Carl or James grunts and growls as if unsure of what to do. The little hands hold firm though, pulling back into the flaming pits behind the ram. I get weak, my lungs screaming in the smoking air, feeling my limbs start to give out. And then something gives, but it's Cole. The hands pull through him, and something large and transparent gets pulled out. It flies back with a howl, and Cole flies forward into me. The door goes closed with a snap. I fall back with a crunch, my already hazy mind almost blacking out as the ram falls on top of me. He pulled out the evil ghost from him. The following events are a bit of a blur to me. I remember seeing Cole staring down at me, yelling my name. I remember a blind stumble through smoke, a dark basement, crumbling stairs, and 2 sets of bloody footprints through the kitchen and out into the night. We follow them. And then sitting in the desert, my head in Cole's lap, I watch his eyes glitter in the dancing firelight. His eyes are blank and far away. I reach up to touch his face, say thanks somehow. He doesn't look down. His eyes stay empty. That's a spooky ending. That's a spooky ending. Okay, so the children that were murdered, they wanted revenge, and it looks like they got it. They were able to drag it out of Cole, but it does look like Jenna and Raven paid the consequence for that. So yeah, that was a bit of a darker ending compared to the last one that we had. But I hope you enjoyed this route. This is Usho signing off, and hopefully I will see you next time.